This is my fully stock S15 Silvia Spec-R. Stock engine, stock wheels, stock exhaust. Nearly everywhere you look, this car is exactly how it was rolling off the showroom floor in 1999. Preserved for 25 years, an absolute cream puff. And now I'm gonna rip it apart and ruin it. Okay, not really. But the reality is, after 25 years, every car has imperfections. I've done the general maintenance stuff already, but there's a few things that came up with only an older car. Remember that stock exhaust? The heat shields were rusting out and rattling. I ripped two of the shields out and replaced one. I fixed a small boost leak that ended up being the PCV valve. I freshened up my side markers with some clear Nismo ones. And worst of all, my car kinda broke down around 1,000 miles into owning it. Now I left everything pulled off because I didn't want to do it again, but as you can see, I am having harness issues in the sense that some of these are just completely broken, the tabs, and on top of that too, the second one, well, it's already doing it, as you can see, it depins itself. Turns out that my stock harness completely disintegrated over the past 2 decades. I had to switch that out for a new harness and R35 GTR coil pack since no stores around me carry anything S15. Anyway, let's get to why we're really here. After watching an old Dory10 video where 2 aging men were talking about their suspension, I decided to copy the same thing. Except I swapped out Cusco for IKEA Formula after I heard a lot of good things about them. Everything that was recommended for adjustability was IKEA Formula, and everything where it wasn't really needed I went Nismo Japan, just like in the video. You might be wondering why I said Nismo Japan. For S and R chassis, there's actually 2 Nismo options. One being the Nismo ones that I bought, usually in a silver finish. The other being these rebranded SPO parts sold by Nismo in a silver and red finish. SPO is an American company with a pretty good reputation from what I've heard. I mean, after all, Nismo was willing to put their name on them. But to my knowledge, these SPO Nismo parts aren't being sold in Japan at all, and are only pillable, which I don't want because it might be a little bit too rough. They're still a pretty good option, and I considered them, but I ended up getting everything IKEA Formula and Nismo Japan for a tiny bit more comfort in that Japanese street style. Speaking of pillow balls, I went pillow ball tops as opposed to rubber for my Owens because only the pillow ball tops have camber adjustment. I didn't want to find another way to get more camber, so I decided to risk it. I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of comfort for function here, but I'm okay with that. So now that I'm looking at everything, it's actually a little bit overwhelming. I actually don't know where I'm going to start. I have to take literally every single arm out. And then maybe I drop the coilover after. For anybody wondering how my S15 looked like underneath, it is pretty damn clean. It has like no rust. The pinch welds are pretty good. Yeah, it's a good thing that I'm replacing these. Okay, so the front arm is out and it was a little bit of a struggle. You can see how corroded it was. And now the sway bar is loose too. I actually have replacement bushings for the sway bar, as well as the, where it sits right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Old bushing, new bushing. So just like me, you're probably wondering if there's a difference between the Nismo arm and the regular arm. And to be honest, I don't think that there is. I think that the only thing that changes between this arm and the stock arm is the Nismo bushings that they have, and everything else is kind of the same. Like if you look underneath it, There's no additional reinforcements or anything, so it's a little bit weird. I thought that they would add a little bit more bracing, something. But either way, for me, this is an upgrade because the old one was definitely a little bit worn. Okay boys, the fronts are done. So I got everything in and all I have to do now is drop it and preload that little bushing you see right there. Don't get me wrong, it's like better, but we can go much, much further. I think I'm gonna have a shop do this along with the alignment, so I'm just gonna leave it where it is for now. Okay, for the rears, I have a little bit of a plan. I'm going to take the strut out first, and I'm going to loosen the bolts for every single arm, and I'm going to take one at a time, so generally everything is in the same place. Alright, so comparing these two like rear upper links too, it doesn't look like there is any difference. I think the welds are bad on like the stock one, but then again, they're not the best either on the Nismo one. It's probably just reinforced bushings like last time. But I will say this new camber arm is definitely an improvement over stock. I mean, the stock one is also hollow as is this one, but with the stock one, it's actually relatively flat. And with the IKEA Formula one, I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually like a little bit of a dip in the middle. It kind of looks like a banana. And what that does is it allows it to clear this lip a little bit more. So overall, I would say this is an improvement. So I read online and they said that the Nismo arm is reinforced. I think they're talking about this plate, and that plate, but my stock arm is also reinforced. And it's weird because I've seen advertisements where they're claiming that this is an upgrade. Maybe they're talking about compared to an S14? Because I definitely have it. Okay, everything is finally done. Nismo arms in, new bushings right there in, IKEA Formula arms both in, and these beautiful Ulms are in. God damn! And there is the new ride height. So the rears ended up coming a lot lower than I thought it would. Keep in mind that I didn't adjust the coilovers front or rear, and it is also incredibly sunk now, a lot of camber as well. Fronts, I don't think I'm gonna have any issues with. There's still a good amount of clearance, but I'm feeling that if I put something wider in the rear, I might run into issues. But there's definitely a noticeable difference. Back then it was so high up, and now, look at it. I would say the rear is almost slammed. Yo. So I just want to thank you guys for the response on the first video. I didn't really promote it, I didn't really do much, but you know, somehow I'm over 100 subscribers and you guys left a lot of nice comments. I'm deciding to pursue YouTube a little bit more seriously now after seeing that. I haven't really made content before, but now I think that, you know what, I might be able to produce something that you guys enjoy. So thank you to all of you for subscribing, watching, whatever you may do. If you want to follow me on anything else, the only other thing that I really use is Instagram, which would be the same name that I use on my YouTube channel. I feel a little bit embarrassed to say this, but subscribe. Ooh. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Do appreciate it.